channel. I'm Donna, and I am coming to you with part 2 of my book haul. I have purchased a lot of books, and so I had to break it up in 2 parts. Well, I'm going to start because I have quite a few, and I don't want this to be a long video. So let's start. First book I purchased is called Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. In present-day California, Eleanor Bennett's death leaves behind a puzzling inheritance for her 2 children, Byron and Benny, a black cake made from a family recipe with a long history and a voice recording in her message. Eleanor shares a tumultuous story about a headstrong young swimmer who escapes her island home under suspicion of murder. The heartbreaking tale Eleanor unfolds the secrets she still holds back and the mystery of a long-lost child challenge everything the siblings thought they knew about their lineage and themselves. This book has been reviewed, circulated by other booktubers, but I like to jump into things and decide for myself whether I like it or not. So this is definitely on my to read list. And Charmaine Wilkerson's, this is a debut novel, and it's about the inheritance of betrayal, secrets, memories, and even names can shape relationships and history. Charmaine Wilkerson is an American writer who has lived in Jamaica, is now based in Italy. A graduate of Barnard College and Stanford University, she is a former journalist whose award-winning short stories have appeared in various magazines and anthologies. This came out in February of 2022. So, moving on. My next book is called On the Rooftop. This is a stunning novel about a mother whose dream of musical stardom for her 3 daughters collides with the daughters' ambitions for their own lives, set against the backdrop of gentrifying 1950s San Francisco. This has been compared to Fiddler on the Roof. So my dad used to truly love that movie and the play. So I definitely thought this would be a good read for me. And these sisters at home, they are just sisters, but on stage, they are the Salvations. Ruth, Esther, and Chloe have been singing and dancing in harmony since they could speak. Thanks to the rigorous direction of her mother, Vivian, they've become a bona fide girl group whose shows are the talk of the jazz era Fillmore. This author, Margaret Wilkerson Sexton, she has written other books, and she writes only what she knows, but what her ancestors knew. The New Orleans-born, Oakland-based writer tells tales filled with confounding truths about race and class. This book came out in September of 2022. I may show you another book cover up here as I speak of these books, so let's continue. Next is a legendary writer, Gayl Jones. She returns with a stunning new novel about Black American artists in exile. This is called The Birdcatcher by Gayl Jones. One of the great literary writers of the 20th century she was, and I have almost all of her other books. Now, for the first time in over 20 years, Jones is publishing again in the wake of her long-awaited 5th novel, Palmares. I recently purchased that as well, have not read it. It's very thick. Palmares is her other latest book, but this is a short one, a smaller book, and It's set primarily on the island of Ibiza. The story is narrated by the writer Amanda Wardlaw, whose closest friend, a gifted sculptor named Catherine Sugar, is repeatedly institutionalized for trying to kill a husband who never leaves her. The three form a quirky triangle on the whitewashed island. That sounds really, really good. So I still have not read any one of her books, Gayl Jones, even though I have all of her books. So I definitely have to dig into her books. She is an African-American writer from Lexington, Kentucky. Her works, I will show pictures of several of them here. The Healing was introduced, Harper introduced Jones' work to Toni Morrison, who was an editor at the time. And in 1975, Jones published her first novel, Corregidora, I hope I'm saying it right, at the age of 26. That same year, she was a visiting lecturer at the University of Michigan, which hired her the following year as an assistant professor. She left her faculty position in 1983 and moved to Europe. This book came out in September of 2022. So I am very looking forward to reading some of Gayl Jones's novels. I may start with some of her earlier works and work my way through. Next, I purchased Glory. Glory is from the award-winning author, the Booker Prize finalist, We Need New Names. An exhilarating novel about the fall of an oppressive regime and the chaos and opportunity that rise in its wake. Booktubers have compared this book to Animal Farm, I believe, by George Orwell. Well, I have not read that either. It's a classic, so I may need to get that, pick it up. I might want to compare it. I don't know. I might just read this on its own merit and just absorb the story, and then I may go back and read Animal Farm. But this is by NoViolet Bulawayo. I hope I'm saying that right. This novel follows the fall of the old horse, the long-serving leader of a fictional country, and the drama that follows for a rambunctious nation of animals on the path to true liberation. And this book came out in March of 2022. It has been the talk on YouTube channels, and I am so looking forward to digging into this. The author is, she earned her MFA at Cornell University, where she was a recipient of the Truman Capote Fellowship. She was a Stegner Fellow at Stanford University, where she now teaches as a Jones Lecturer in Fiction. She grew up in Zimbabwe. Next on my list is a powerful collection exploring the Haitian diaspora experience, Ayiti, by Roxane Gay. Now, she is supposed to be a very excellent writer. I have not read any of her writings as of yet. And in Ayiti, a married couple seeking boat passage to America prepares to leave their homeland. A young woman procures a voodoo love potion to ensnare a childhood classmate. A mother takes a foreign soldier into her home as a boarder and into her bed. And a woman conceives a daughter on the bank of a river while fleeing a horrific massacre. A daughter who later moves to America for a new life, but is perpetually haunted by the mysterious scent of blood. Oh my goodness. All of that is packed in this little book. Okay. Well, Roxane Gay's writings appear in Best America, several other publications. She has written a book previously called An Untamed State. She is a New York Times best-selling author. Difficult Women, Hunger. I have that on my shelf, have not read it. She is also the author of World of Wakanda for Marvel. She has several books forthcoming and is also at work on television and film projects. So this came out in January of 2018. So I'm a little behind, but I think it's still going to be a good read. And so, moving on. Next I have The Furrows. This is by Namwali Serpell. Namwali is about, the Furrows is about Cassandra Williams, who is 12. Her little brother Wayne is 7. One day when they're alone together, there was an accident and Wayne is lost forever. His body is never recovered. The missing boy cleaves the family with doubt. Their father leaves, starts another family elsewhere, but their mother can't give up hope and launches an organization dedicated to missing children. Now, if you recall, Namwali Serpell's previous book is The Old Drift. And I have read this, see all my tabs, I have read this, and this left me very entertained, very enriched, stunning. And this was her debut novel, and it was good. I think I gave it like a 4.5 stars. This has got to be another, if she continues to write like she did in The Old Drift, this is going to be excellent as well. Serpell is a Zambian writer who teaches at UC Berkeley. She received a Rona Jaff Foundation Writers Award in 2011, was selected for the Africa 39 in 2014. She's won lots of awards, period, already for her writing. And The Old Drift being her first novel, the chapter entitled The Falls is derived from the autobiography of an old drifter by the historical figure Percy M. Clark. She was born in Lusaka and lives in New York. And this book came out in September of 2022. So I definitely have to get that read since I read The Old Drift, enjoyed it, and did a live chat with the book group on YouTube. So I am so looking forward to that. My next book is The Lady Worthy Mysteries. This is book 1 of that series. And this is Vanessa Riley, Murder in Westminster. Well, discovering a body on her property presents Lady Abigail Worthing with more than one pressing problem. The victim is Juliet, the wife of her neighbor, Stapleton Henderson. Although Abigail has little connection with the lady in question, she expects to be under suspicion. Abigail's skin color and her mother's notorious past have earned her a certain reputation among the ton, and no amount of wealth or status will eclipse it. She is an award-winning writer. She has also written 2 other books that are well known, and that is Island Queen, which has gotten rave reviews, and Sister, Mother, Warrior. So as you see, I have these books as well, have not read them. I'm just collecting Vanessa Riley's books, with the plans of reading one of them at least one day. Riley is a Southern Irish Trini girl. She holds a doctorate in mechanical engineering and an MS in industrial engineering and engineering management from Stanford University. Her research skills have helped NASA, GM, Hewlett-Packard, and several startups. Yet her love of history, Caribbean, Georgian, and Regency, and lattes yes, I said lattes, which is coffee, overwhelmed her passion for math and has led to the publication of over 20 titles. Wow. So anyway, this book came out in August of 2022. And if it's as good as her other writings that she's been getting excellent reviews for, this will be good as well. And it's book one of a series. So let's see how we do there. And finally, one of the last books that I purchased was Moonrise over New Jessup. And this is by Jamila Minnicks. She's the winner of the 2021 PEN Bellwether Prize for Socially Engaged Fiction, an encouraging and thought-provoking debut about a Black woman doing whatever it takes to protect all she loves on Alabama soil. Well, I'm in Alabama, and I need to read this. It's 1957, and after leaving the only home she has ever known, Alice Young steps off the bus into an all-Black New Jessup, where residents have largely rejected integration. Integration as the means for Black social advancement. Instead, they seek to maintain and fortify the community they cherish on their side of the woods. In this place, Alice falls in love with Raymond Campbell, whose clandestine organizing activities challenge New Jessup's long-standing status quo and could lead to the young couple's expulsion, or worse, from the home they both hold dear. As they marry and raise children together, Alice must find a way to balance her undying support for his underground work with her desire to protect New Jessup from the rising pressure of upheaval from inside and outside their side of town. Normally, I do not like to pre-read what a book is about if I think that it's going to be a good read. I like to just crack it open and start reading and find out as I'm reading what this book is really entailing. However, that sounds like a very interesting backdrop for me. So, Jamila is a graduate of the University of Michigan, which is where I moved from, the Howard University School of Law, and the Georgetown University Law Center. She lives in Washington, D.C. So this is literary fiction, which is definitely up my alley. And this came out in January of 2023. So this just came out this year. And I have not heard any feedback on it, no reviews, which I try not to let that influence what I may read or what I'll think of the book beforehand, especially. So I'm looking forward to reading this one on my own and give my review and opinion on it. So that's my book haul for now. And while I got you all captivated, I need your help. I have so many books on my bookshelves, and like I started collecting books back in the 80s, 1980s, around the right before the explosion of Terry McMillan. But anyway, I have some books that I said I dug off my shelf that I need to read. Now, these are throwbacks. But for some reason, I'm attracted to books with ladies wearing hats. Look at that. I said, well, out of one of these three, I want to read one for May, for Mother's Day, in honor of Mother's Day. This is called The Sisterhood of Blackberry Corner by Andrea Smith. Then there's Laelia. This is by Ruth, Miriam, Garnett. And look at that. Woo, menacing. Okay. And this, The Hatwearer's Lesson by Yolanda Joe. If you have read any of these books, please comment and tell me what you thought, which one should I read. And I don't think I can get all three in by May. And just say, you know, I think you should read, or I've read, and let me know. So I could choose one of them. I need to read more off of my shelves, but I'm hoping to get one of these read in the month of May. Okay, so that's it, you guys, and thank you for watching. When I come back to you with another video, we're going to talk about book covers, especially book covers compared to the US and the UK. So I'll see you next time. Thank you. Like my video and subscribe if you would. Bye.